Hello there. I'll be trying to do some videos just looking at the elemental archetypes that I've been doing videos on and talking about for quite some time now. But I'd like to just do some videos which are really just uh, very simple, very rudimentary looks at the archetypes, rather than going into all of the um, relationships and relations between them, which are very important. But I think it's good to come back to that basic sense of things, and to get a good sense of the archetypes as archetypes rather than as um, mm, part of a scheme, if you see what I mean. Because schemes aren't really the point, you know. As I said, the archetypes are based on the elements, and each archetype has two elements, a preponderant element and a secondary element, though you could also think of the secondary element as being its inner element. Um, that's one way of looking at them. Uh, the elements are four in number, and uh, these are the sort of like the elements that we find in in Greek literature and treatises and things like this, and they are fire, air, earth, and water. Fire is a highly energetic, inspiring, spirited element, and it tends to drive outwards towards action or towards various kinds of creativity or action. Yeah. Earth uh, um, is the solid element, yeah, and it gives body, it gives manifestation, it gives materiality, it gives substance, yeah. Um, Air is a highly expansive element. Um, it gives space, it gives light, it brings a kind of light to things, or it can do. Um, and it gives space. Yeah, water is an element of depth, and it brings meaning, felt meaning. It's very much connected with feelings, with relationship. Yeah, um, the the elements do have relationships to each other just of their nature, and I've gone into that in other videos. Um, and you find that fire and water support each other, water and earth support each other. Yeah, but that's a lot of that stuff I've gone into already. But the thing is that in human terms, we come to really understand these things when we see them in pairs, when they combine in pairs, and especially with this nuance of what, like, first and second order. So, for instance, the patriarch is air and water, and the nymph or child is water and air in those orders. Yeah, so we get that nuance to it. But the thing is, bringing them together in these pairs, we start to be able to really relate to them in human terms, and they become accessible to us in this way. So the archetypes are really um, really great for getting an understanding of the elements, because in their purity, they are um, a lot to connect with in human terms. But the thing is, each of these archetypes, each of these energy combinations, uh, which some people have compared to things like the channels on a TV set or what have you, but each of these um, energy combinations uh, is not just a kind of a psychological thing in the sense of being a psychological image or archetype. Yeah, they are whole worlds. They are whole worlds of ways of seeing things, whole ways of experiencing life, and different things are possible with different kinds of energy, and we see different things as being possible, and we experience different things as being possible. So they are very, very profound. And according to what you find active within a person, uh, that does very much influence their personality as well. Uh, so I think those are the important things to understand as an introduction. Uh, these are keys to whole worlds, and you find that there is not just one sort of consciousness. There are profoundly different kinds of consciousness. Yeah, and you can link these to the elements. But that is one of the keys to this. Um, and in looking into uh, these archetypes and these patterns, you get to understand, as with any really, I think, great system of psychological language, that there are fundamentally different kinds of people, and they all have their own way of functioning. There are quite different sorts of people, and different sorts of individuals, and different sorts of consciousness, and they subjectively inhabit different kinds of world. Um, and this is something to understand, gain insight into, and to have a compassionate relationship to. So that's just my very, very simple and basic introduction to the subject, but I hope to actually go on to make more videos about the archetypes so that uh, hopefully people can get a basic idea of what I've been talking about for the last however long, over a year really, in terms of these things. Um, that's about it for today, and I will speak to you soon. Bye bye.